What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Crown Racing video. Today I'm going to be pulling the engine, transmission, exhaust, drive shaft, everything on the engine, all that stuff off the new edge today because a couple months ago I blew the engine up while I was drifting with my brother. I do know the reason why I blew the motor up after looking at some data logs and just thinking about what happened. I was running too much ignition timing when I was drifting this car, and I'll get into that later. I'll do a video about tuning and all that stuff. I've been tuning these 351s for like 4 years now, and I finally found the peak, or like the max for ignition timing. I do have forged Wiseco pistons, so I thought I could have got away with staying spicy the whole time, but now I learned my lesson. It was a little bit too hot. In the last video I bore scoped it, figured out what cylinder was blown up, and it was cylinder 1. So now unfortunately the engine has to come out of the car, so that's what I'm working on today. I did a how-to 351 swap video in a new Edge or SN95 Mustang like a year ago, and it picked up a ton of traction. You guys were super interested in it, and you guys asked a ton of questions through our emails and comments on the channel. So I figured I'll just show you guys a video of me disassembling my entire setup to pull the motor, and you guys can get ideas from like how I set up my engine bay, where I place stuff like ignition computer, PCV setup, so on and so forth, whatever. And then you guys just see how I did my setup, and then you can go from there and do whatever you want with your setup. I'll just start taking off some other basic stuff that is in the engine bay. Like I'll get the ignition computer, the MSD Digital 6 Plus out of the way. Accessory drive, distributor, coil. I'll get rid of the EFI, that's Holley Super Sniper. I think I can leave the PCV in the back over there without getting in the way, but I do have the battery pulled out, stuff like that. So I'll just clean up the engine bay, get a bunch of stuff out of the way, and then I'll drop under the car and take out drive shaft, transmission cross member, and drain the transmission and pull the transmission. Alright, so it's a week later. If you notice that I have a mustache now because it's No Shave November. I apologize, this is probably the dirtiest mustache you've ever seen, but that's the whole point of it, is I always grow it out during November just so everyone else can get a laugh at it. But the reason why I've been waiting a week... I also have a mustache. Steve also, we have a competition going who can grow the dirtier mustache. Now we're going to pick up where we left off with pulling the engine and transmission out of the car. But before I keep like disassembling and taking everything off the engine, I want to give you a quick like bird's eye view of how I did like my throttle linkage and other stuff like that before I take it all off. I spend more time looking for tools than actually removing things. Here it is. Okay, so this is how I did my throttle linkage. So I did this with the Holley carburetor, the 750, and now I have the Holley Super Sniper EFI. And this is a stock throttle bracket for a V6, and then this is a Mustang GT throttle cable, a stock throttle cable. And you see I just have like a little aluminum spacer moving it over a little bit to put it in line with the actual carb or EFI setup that you have. And it goes through the stock throttle hole in the firewall here, the throttle cable hole right there. Actually, since we're standing over here already, these firewall adjusters for your clutch cable, you see I can thread it in and out to change the preload on the cable. If you ask me, this is a must. It's so easy to remove the cable and all that stuff, because what we're gonna have to do in a second, if you didn't have that firewall cable, you have to take a pry bar and pull on the clutch fork to, press the pressure plate so you have slack to loosen the nut that's on the clutch cable on the bottom. which is kind of a pain in the butt, especially if you have an aftermarket pressure plate that's really heavy like I do. So that firewall adjuster is so easy. You just back it in all the way, and you have a ton of slack. You just go there and just remove it. So that saves a huge hassle with removing. And also, if your pedal feels like crap, you just walk over and just adjust it and just add some preload to it. It's just so much easier. You should buy one. Yeah, so there's the distributor. It's 1 bolt. It's a 13 mil. Loosen it up and grab it.
Probably the easiest thing to remove.
So personally, what I like to do is just leave everything connected to the top hat. And when we go to time the engine, we'll make sure that the distributor is set to cylinder 1. When we drop it in, I paint marked in all that stuff. So, all right, so we got all the electrical stuff disconnected. So last thing we gotta do is do the fuel lines. And then the Holley Super Sniper is ready to come off. So if you guys are interested in the Holley Super Sniper 600, this is the feed line. And then the return line is on the passenger side. You can actually see the built-in fuel pressure regulator. Since I have an NA application, I just decided to use their built-in fuel pressure regulator. If you do a boosted application, you have to have your own fuel pressure regulator that references manifold vacuum. But in this case, I just use their built-in one.
That wasn't bad.
2, hold that.
Oh.
So overall, I've been super happy with the Holley Super Sniper 600. Personally, if you ask me, I recommend that you switch over to EFI. Not so much like wide open throttle, like power or anything like that, but just the drivability and being able to see data with your laptop is kind of priceless. So the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to get the exhaust out of the way. I'm letting the transmission oil drain as we speak, so I don't have to wait on that later. So I'm going to disconnect my wideband sensors before I drop the exhaust, and then I'm going to drop the exhaust. I leave the shorty headers on the engine and then drop everything else and pull it out from under the car. So for my exhaust, I have it mounted. It's mounted in 2 places on the car. It's attached to the shorty heads up by the engine, and then I have one mount back here using the stock, like the stock mount for the stock exhaust. I'll show you. It is this bolt right here. Fire in the hole! My paint! Alright, well, that's one side done. So as you can see, the Mustang's not like super high off the ground, so you want to make sure that you want to limber up a little bit. Don't need to be pulling any hammies or anything like that. You're never gonna get this done.
Yes, so, stretch up.
I pulled a hammy once. Wasn't fun.
Mark, I'll go ahead and just delete that clip for you. I don't think that should go in.
That's what the people want to see. Little goofball fun stuff.
You're a better mechanic than you are a comic.
You got a joke for you. Ready?
Yeah. Let's see it. Let's see. Go ahead. Make me laugh. Impressive. Yeah. Get back under the car.
Alright boys, we got both the exhaust pipes out, so now we're going to do the shifter and the drive shaft, right? Yep, we're going to do the drive shaft first because you got to put it in first gear so I can loosen the bolts at the axle, and then you'll pull the shifter off through the top of the car, and then we'll be able to remove the transmission when we're ready. Alright, so as you guys know, I have a TKO 600 swapped into this car, and in order to do that swap, I used a Stifler's universal transmission crossmember, and then you also need to do a spacer for your drive shaft. So Steve's gonna crawl under the car and I'm gonna show you the spacer. So there's the trans mount. So obviously, yeah. So here's the crossmember. This is Stifler's universal transmission crossmember. And then if you're using a T5 with your swap, you don't need to do any of this. You don't need any spacers. You can use the stock crossmember. But if you want to switch to the Tremec 600, TKO 600, you need to do this. So obviously the spacer has the pilot for this flange and it has the bolt pattern for this flange. I think I actually bought this off late model restoration, I also bought the TKO 600 off of late model restoration, but the spacer is 0.681 inches in thickness. But like I told you, I bought the transmission and the spacer off late model restoration, so you can do the swap. So just check out their website. They'll tell you everything you need. I put Loctite on these, that's why it's super tight. Don't want to be that guy with your drive shaft falling out.
No, definitely don't want to be that guy. Everyone knows that guy.
I'm gonna go this way. The top part. Yep. Oopsie. Okay. Easy. I forgot how big of a hole it is. Let's just take this handle off, this top part, and I bet you we can, I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll get the trans out, and then
We'll
it'll
see.
keep dust from getting in there.
All right, so I just got the starter out, and just something worth mentioning. This is a high torque starter. This is a Power Master. For you guys that want to run long tubes, or pretty much you want to run long tubes, you should get a starter like this, because you can see I can clock it. You loosen these two bolts and you can clock the starter to help fit your exhaust, and this helped me a lot with doing the swap.
We got the engine stand built, and we have the cherry picker all ready to go with the engine leveler on. So now it's time to pull out the transmission and the engine. All right, so almost got the transmission cross mount off. Actually, it's off on 2 jacks, and we gotta get it out from underneath the car now.
We have to go straight back, it looks like.
Yeah, 'cause the car's not high enough to pull it out from the side, so we'll have to go straight back with it.
Yep. Ready?
I think once we go a little bit lower here, it's gonna... Should be okay. The fetal coilover is looking nice and clean still. Come my way a little bit.
Just get it up.
Yeah, I know. I was rubbing the crash bar.
See how much more graceful it is when the transmission's not a part of it?
Looks like it's in good condition. The clutch?
Uh-huh.
Show the camera. Let's see it. It looks good, yeah. How's the flywheel look? Are there any hot spots or anything? No?
It doesn't look like anything too bad.
Cool. Now that we have the clutch and flywheel off, we're ready to put the engine on the engine stand.
Yep. That's the next step.
Good. I'm glad all that stuff looks good, so you don't have to spend more
Yeah,
money.
it saves
to
me.
It saves you a little money here and there.
Well,
Ready?
done. Alright guys, so we got the engine out of the car. That's going to be it for this video. You guys know the deal. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And for the next video, we'll be tearing down the engine. We'll tear it down to a short block, look at all the damage, stuff like that. And we'll see what we have to work with. And I'll talk to you guys about what parts I plan to replace while I have this engine apart so we can make more power. So with that said, see you guys in the next video.